Welcome along to another episode of the Groan Zone. You're tuned in to episode 88, where we find ourselves coming to the end of a heatwave, I hope, this week. I've been sweating like a snowman on a beach. But this show isn't about sweating, it's about groaning and the like. All the show will feature the content you know and love, and it starts with my groans. Putting things in your mouth that are unsanitary. Why in the hell do you chew a pen lid and then put the pen back in the box? Disgusting. Also sucking on the corners of your phone case. Good grief, it's no wonder diseases spread fast in society today. Convicts who cry in court when they get their sentence. If you cannot do the crime, how about... I'll try that again. If you cannot do the time, how about you simply just don't do the crime? How about some remorse instead of self-pity? Accept your sentence, you did it, you're going down. People who record videos in gyms and try to accuse other people of staring at them. Last I checked, you go to work out in a gym, and if you're going to purposefully do your squats, etc., in front of someone's line of sight, where are they supposed to look? Also, basic gym rule, don't use the dumbbells right in front of where they are kept. You can't call people rude for getting past you when you're in their way like the true gorm you really are. Way! There they go. We'll see more groans set free to the Groan Zone. And of course, one of you gets your turn later, groaners. And I'll be groaning more next week too. Let's play a game now. It's time for the 5-point countdown. Straight in there, here we go. Clue number 5. For 5 points. I am useful in a heatwave. Clue 5 for 5 points. I am useful in a heatwave. What do you have? Groans playing live. Those at home, think about your answer. If you got one, think about it. And there we go. Okay, someone's put sunscreen. Okay. Any further answers? Those at home, think about your answers as well. You got a couple more seconds. And that's it. Moving on. Clue number 4. I can also be someone's or something's biggest one. And do again. Clue number 4 for 4 points. I can also be someone's or something's biggest one. Give me your answers, groaners. What you got? Playing at home. Think about your answer. This clue's for 4 points. Any more answers, groaners playing live? I think I've stumped them past sunscreen so far. Okay, moving on. Clue number 3 for 3 points. I am a short version of a bigger word. Clue again. Clue 3 for 3 points. I am a short version of a bigger word. I really stumped the live audience this week. Have I stumped you at home, groaners? Have you got it already? You will find out later. We're not done yet. Nope, still no answers there from the groaners playing live. Moving on, clue number 2 for 2 points. You can power me by battery or hand power. That clue again for 2 points. You can power me by battery or hand power. Oh, I see typing. Okay, someone's wrote fan. Any more answers coming in there, groaners? We have fan. Earlier we had sunscreen. Any more? Moving on in a couple of seconds. Here we go. Clue number 1 for 1 point. I can be personal or industrial. That clue again. Clue 1 for 1 point for the groaners live and the groaners at home. Clue number 1 for 1 point. I can be personal or industrial. Okay, groaners, your time's going to run out very soon. If you're going to put any answers in, you better put them in now. Same for you at home, groaners. Although you can pause me if you're listening along after I've recorded. Nope, that's it, groaners. Okay, the answer will come later in the show. But now we move along to Admin Nicole's Creepy Corner. Your story this week is called Through Suffering We Thrive. The best thing for them all to do now was to leave. Coco was silent as she had to process, given the new revelation of her child. Dredd was now in a worse position, given the news, as he was still figuring out what to do himself. They all agreed to leave, and that the asylum was not the right place for them to call home. They also weren't willing to find out what other horrors lived in these walls. The old man gave the local rats a message for the sewer lord. The sewer lord got back quickly and advised them to check out a cave some miles north. A new destination, a new potential journey. Coco wondered if this trip would ever end. Talia remained silent as ever, while Lila and Rosa were simply enjoying the trip. They had never left that town before, so all of this was new for them. New realms were appearing all over the place all the time. Maybe this was the future of the Earth. Some were easily accessible, others were locked under certain rules. Perhaps the town they needed to find now would be one of those. Coco was almost sorry to leave the giant worm behind. The size of his fangs alone would have made her feel safer if he had joined them, but she knew it would be wrong to take him out of his home. The trip to find the cave was something else. They slept under the stars, seeing each one burn ever so brightly in the sky. Prince Dredd showed everyone what all the constellations were, as he proudly reminded everyone that while everyone in the Nightmare Realm held the appearance of a monster, they were in fact peaceful scholars. They would study anything and everything, but especially the stars. Lila was especially fascinated by the giant lizards they would pass. They looked like dragons, scaling cliffs or hiding out in the forests. The old man would comment often how vastly different the Earth is now compared to how it was before the Great War. Yet he much prefers this new chaotic version. It was as if everyone and everything was finally starting to belong and live as they were meant to. Maybe this was the future he always wanted to see. He only wished Valencia was awake to see it all. The journey was long, the sun beat down on them, followed by a mini snowstorm and more heat. The weather was still unstable, and certain areas now had their own weather system. The end of the world was also beginning of another. This was their world now, but luckily for most of them, this is all they knew. Lila looked forward to all the new things and creatures she would see. Her sister Rosa always remained close, ready to attack anything that seemed to be a threat. She still missed her scissors though. She hoped to find something on this trip to replace them with. At long last, they reached the cave. A giant hollow tunnel, but it didn't seem like much more than an abandoned cave carved into the rock. The edges were too smooth for this cave to be naturally formed. The old man personally couldn't understand why the sewer lord would tell them that a cave would make a good town. It looked like a good size from the outside though, so they all agreed to go inside and check it out. The entire cave was fitted with lights and machines. In front of the main entrance was a plaque drilled into a stone table. It had some kind of coded message on it. Gesifts, Hofrumt Div, Gizrev. A small noise came from behind them. It was a noise of absolute disgust, and that's when they turned around. That noise came from Talia. She knew what this place was. Then the old man thought back to her wish. The dollhouse he got her to show her what had happened to her parents. Rosa went from being able to sew herself new body parts to bringing life to anything she sews. Talia's wish, however, wasn't based on keeping her alive. It was based on her memories. The powers granted her from that blast sent her memories further back. She remembers her past life. That explained her silence this whole time. So why speak up now? Of all things, why'd I have to come out of this place, she muttered. The once quiet Talia, who was happy just being away from her aunt, was now showing a completely different personality, as her absolute disgust at this place became clear. Talia, do you know what this place is? Viola asked. Talia spat on the plaque in front of her, as her once calm, quiet demeanour was now completely gone. There was but one thing Talia could say in response to Viola's question. Purple is sin. Purple is freedom. Purple is blessing. That ending is especially creepy. We are lucky to have Admin Nicole writing these stories. Show your love on Facebook and Discord and in the comment section on this episode. Speaking of luck, the next homeowner probably felt, oh, unlucky. Well, I wouldn't want to be this homeowner from Inverness in Scotland. Their grandchildren kept saying they heard buzzing at night when they went to sleep. Upon investigation, it was discovered that there were 3 colonies of bees found living in the plasterboard ceiling in a spare room for about several years. Let us briefly do the numbers on this one. Up to 60,000 bees in each colony. That hits at an eye-watering approximately 180,000 buzzing bodies. I'm not sure if I should be creeped out or be glad that they can turn their house into a honey farm. Either way, definitely unlucky. On a side note, I recently found out the bees are not going to be exterminated. As of yesterday, that's the 27th of June 2024, they're going to be monitored for any parasites for several weeks and they'll be used for honey production. A beekeeper of the Loch Ness honey farm was called in to help move the bee swarm into temporary hives. Had this been wasps, I'm sorry, but I'd burn the house down without a second thought. I'm glad the bees were not killed. Now groaners, I said you get a turn. It's your time with the audience groan now. And this groan came in via email from Chris of Soho in London. And he says, having to work on big days like my birthday and Father's Day. Unfortunately, Chris, we are in the realm where money makes the world go round. I personally never work on my birthday and make sure it's one of the first holidays I put in, be it one day or a full week. I never ever work on my birthday. Some people don't get the choice and are told when they must work. Good groan though, Chris. If you'd like to throw us a groan like Chris did, tell us your why or why, an unlucky story, nominate a Zero or Hero of the Week, give us your feedback, or any ideas you've got, you can do so by doing any one of the following. You can wing us in an email to thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can come find us on Facebook groups under the Groan Zone podcast. You can find myself, that's Mystery Groaner, or Nicole Amos on Facebook Messenger, or you can find us on Discord under the Groan Zone. Or you can simply place a comment on any episode and it'll be reviewed. As always, groaners, any contributions you give us are always welcome. You make the show what it is today. Here we are again, groaners. It's time now for our second game of the week with Double Down Dummies. Round 1. This occurred in 2018. It's confirmed true by the Darwin Awards website and happened in Malaysia. A man by the name of Zain clapped eyes on a 12-foot reticulated python which was enjoying itself in a land of Nod on the roadside. Probably thinking monetary value, the man handled the python with gloves and a sickle. Braver man than I am. Thinking himself a bigger man, he held the snake's head high as he drove it home by motorbike, yet swinging it round in the air like a div. But how did this lead to his death? Was it option A? The snake became very agitated and bit into his neck. The shock caused him to crash. They found Zain later inside the snake's stomach. Was it option B? The very annoyed snake must have been watching MMA before its nap because it wrapped itself around our Darwiner. It caused the bite to crash. He was found inside the snake the next day. Cause of death? Strangulation. Was it option C? The snake wrapped itself around his head. Unable to see where he was going, Zain drove them both over the edge of a mountainside road. Go, Groans playing live. Give me your answer. Those playing after the fact, give me your answer to yourself. We have C's flying in there. Any more? B's coming in. I love it. We have a split. The room is totally divided. What did you get at home, Groaner? Do let us know. What did you go for? Okay. The next one was a third-party Darwin and not the fault of the victim. I'm calling the vice officer an idiot for causing a homicide. Round 2. This is also confirmed true by the same website. Happened on July 19th, the 9th of July 2018 in Pennsylvania. A game of cat and mouse turned deadly between a vice officer and his victim. His victim had been found with 12 weed plants. By this, I mean pot, and a maintenance worker dobbed him in. Upon the arrival of the authorities, one suspect turned himself in, but our victim, Mr. Longnecker, took off running and hid in the cornered off section, a massive section of bushes. But how did this lead to his death? Was it option A? He was killed after the vice officer set fire to the bushes, and with no escape he burned to death. The vice officer had intended to smoke him out. Was it option B? Our vice officer hopped into a bulldozer and trailed up and down through the bushes. Once he got to the end of the bushes, he found Mr. Longnecker had been run over by the bulldozer. Or was it option C? In a reckless manner, our vice cop tried to play Dirty Harry, and in true "Do you feel lucky, punk?" style, he started unloading random shots into the bushes. One hit Mr. Longnecker, but he stayed quiet. Unfortunately, by the time he was found, he had bled out from an arterial bleed. Go Groaners, give me your answers. Clean at Home also gives your answers. We have more C's flying in there, more C's coming in, everyone's going for C. Okay, any more Groaners? Couple more seconds. Nope, that's it. The answer will be revealed later on. But now, let us ask, why oh why? So, we have all of these Greta Thunberg like climate change figurehead people, demanding climate change, etc, etc. All of their supporters are brainwashed and mesmerised by them, to the point they forget these people are the following. 1. Only human. 2. A lot of the times, whilst criticising people for going on holidays and using fossil fuels, these very same activists use planes to get about. One has already flown twice to the Caribbean this year, once to see family and the second time to take part in a climate justice camp on the exotic island of St. Martin. The same person stated in 2019 she declared she would become flight free. Well, that's rubbish, wasn't it? These people seem to feel using planes and other fossil fuel transportation methods is okay for them, yet the rest of us should do without. One even stated they should not have to justify their personal life to the world. Sorry, but you became a figurehead and are now in the public eye, so your movements will be under scrutiny. The vast double standards and hypocrisy of it all. I've just got to ask, why oh why? There'll be more why oh why next week. Speaking of the week, here we have our hero of the week. Not to get involved in politics, as you know in the Groan Zone, we do our level best to steer clear of politics. But this was amazing. I'll make it brief. Like I said, it's gold. A man called Robert B is a total hero for stating this in a recent BBC live debate. He said about the leading two election parties, "Are you two really the best we've got?" I suppose both have their pros and cons, but clearly both parties are out of touch with the public and what we the public want. I'm not saying who I'm voting for, but at this point, if it was down to two heads of cabbage, you could be rest assured the cabbages would get my vote. Well played to that verbal hero for just stating a fact that we're probably all thinking. Moving over to our weekly game of Admin Nicole's Anagram Anxiety. I'm useless with these, but you Groaners may have better luck. Your anagram is Bea Tyranny. That's Beatyranny. Your clue is, it's another author. The answer will come up next week, and seeing how I've just mentioned game answers, here they are. Double down dummies first, going in reverse order. Round 2. Your correct answer, or outcome I should say, was option B. Our vice officer hopped into a bulldozer and trailed up and down through the bushes. Once he got to the end of the bushes, he found Mr. Longnecker had been ran over by the bulldozer. Honestly, why didn't you just do a search up and down the bushes? I mean, really? You used a bulldozer. You idiot. Round 1. If you went for option B, again, You're right. The very annoyed snake must have been watching MMA before its nap because it wrapped itself around our Darwiner. It caused the bite to crash. He was found inside the snake the next day. Cause of death, strangulation. If anyone out there comes along a big snake, especially something that's like 12 foot long, quickly think to yourself, do I touch the snake? If your answer is yes, seek help immediately, and I mean mental help. If your answer is run away, yeah, leave the snake alone. The snake doesn't want to be disturbed and would much rather leave you alone, so just keep out of each other's way. That's the best course of advice I can offer. And lastly, well not lastly, almost lastly, the 5-point countdown. Your answer was indeed a fan. I know I misled a few here by getting somebody to say sunscreen. I'm sorry, but those are where the answers go. Whoever got fan, when you typed that up in the room, congratulations. Try and remember where you got the points. That's how many points you've got. If you got fan at home, same applies to you. Wherever you got the answer groaner is where you got points. And now lastly, last week's tutorial game of Who the Hell Am I? Your clue was, this cartoon dog from the 1970s loves law enforcement. Also got lots of reruns in the 80s and 90s. The answer was Deputy Dog. A while ago, when I played this with a friend, because sometimes I like, spitball games of friends and stuff, the friend came out with the answer of Top Cat. You're looking at a dog and you give me the answer of Top Cat. If you're listening, that friend, God bless you. That brings us to the end of the episode for this week, Groaners. Here's hoping you enjoyed. You all take care out there. Bye bye.